Greetings, Monty It is I, the Dragoon, and today I'm making the Mario Kart video. A little bit early, but the reason why I'm doing this early is because of Mario Kart World coming out, and that's sort of put me in the mood to make the video now rather than later. Essentially, like, for instance, I want to finish these three up and, you know, make videos on them and like how I made them. So going off on that real quick, I want to go off on a little tangent real quick. So with this tangent, in my coming back video, I mentioned that I don't make customs, essentially I don't make customs for YouTube. However, I do want to try and, like, you know, make videos on like how I made these customs, because for instance, like, what if someone wanted like the classic Dragster here or this Poltergust? They wouldn't know how to do it, right? Or at least how I did it. So I will make videos on them, which is why this video is going to be a lot shorter. So instead of, like, you know, yapping the entire time, because this is going to make the video super long, I'm just going to go into quick, snappy sort of details about how I made them and then move on to the next one. And you'll see how this goes in the rest of the video. Because there are 51 customs here, a lot more than the Thomas ones, and it's still a lot less from the FNAF ones, but that video isn't being made yet. I'll have to make that video essentially next. I still have to make the Disney Cars custom video. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it right now. And to start off the video, here is the very first Mario Kart custom I made, which is King Bomb-Omb in the Frostwing Kart. This combo originated from Mario Kart Tour. Although the kart uses the regular Hot Wheels P-Wing mold, King Bomb-Omb was sculpted using miliput air dry epoxy, which is a two-part air dry epoxy where when you mix it together, it will dry in the air. All the paint used is from Posca paint pens, including black, gold, blue, white, silver, metallic purple, metallic pink, and metallic blue. This one was originally featured in the first video of my Mario Kart customs back when I only had 3. However, at that time it needed to be repainted, and as such I've repainted it to look more shiny as it is depicted in Mario Kart Tour. As always, all decals are hand painted. Blue Toad in Standard Kart is a simple recolor. All you need is a Toad in a standard kart. It doesn't even need to be in the same model. I've updated it since the last time I showed it off, where now instead of having metallic purple at the bottom, it now has metallic blue for a two-tone effect. The only part that you really need to paint over is Toad's red dots on his hat. Barely any changes are required to make this character, so Nintendo, please stop slacking. Here is Meowser in the pink wing with the dark cloud glider from Mario Kart Tour. In the original video, Meowser was in a standard kart and he looked pretty pathetic, and he still doesn't look that great. However, some additions have been made. For instance, as you'll see, he was given a new paint job, he was given ears instead of horns, and his kart has completely changed to be the pink wing. He has also been given these gliders, which appear in Mario Kart Tour as well. Other than these modifications, not much has changed for him. The emblem may not be accurate to how it is in Mario Kart Tour, but I don't have his character in the game, so I could not see whether it was this sort of emblem or not. However, I prefer this emblem a little bit more. Yellow Toad is a repaint of Toad in the Mach 8. A little bit more had to be done to make him Yellow Toad, in that his vest was also painted yellow. As you can see, this one hasn't been unscrewed before, and as a result, he is not painted very well. However, if you're able to, you might as well unscrew him, and if you're wondering how to unscrew him, all you need is a triangle screw, aka a tri-screw. Once again, just a simple repaint. However, I advise you, if you're going to make any of these, you should unscrew them, so that way you have easier access. Once again, not much has changed. However, he was made after my first ever video, so this is the first new custom since that video, and as you'll see, there are plenty more to come. Here we have Luigi in his gold standard kart with gold standard wheels. As you'll see later on, this kart could be from the Mario Kart Tour version of the Gold Standard kart, considering it's a little bit brighter than what a future version may show. This one was painted in Posca Gold paint pen. As with all the other characters, they've been using Posca paint pens. No other changes were required, however, Luigi was unscrewed for easier access to paint. As mentioned before, all details have been painted on. Here we have Bowser in his 3D World car. Using Bowser in the Badwagon, I'd say this looks pretty close to how it looks in 3D World. With a couple more modifications, it could look honestly perfect. This one uses metallic purple as the main paint job, and also he was unscrewed as well for easier access to paint. Updates may come in the future for this one. Here is Metal Mario in the Circuit Special, a little inaccurate to how it appears in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. However, this could be the Mario Kart Tour version if you really squint your eyes. The only major change done for this character was that he was painted silver. Despite this, I've discovered that you can in fact take apart these characters, and they are pretty easy. Mainly, you can untwist the head. However, for this one, I have re-glued the head back on. As you can see in this rather unflattering angle, you can see a crack in Mario's mold. This is where you can pry it open and also remove the arms for easier access to paint him. As always, the emblems have been painted on, and I'd say that this one looks rather neat. Green Toad in Standard Kart is basically Blue Toad, but green. This one features a new color, metallic green, as the top. Other than that, not much to say about this one. Just another question to ask Nintendo, why wasn't this one made? It may look a little sloppy, however I would like to fix this one especially. Purple Toad in Sneaker. Once again, just a repaint of the regular Toad model. This one specifically used Toad in the Sneaker. Thankfully, this is the last new Toad. However, this does not exclude Toad in a new kart. Yoshi in the Wild Wing kart is based off the Mario Kart Wii version rather than the Mario Kart Tour version, as you can see from the coloring. Originally, the Wild Wing kart here had green paint, however now it uses apple green Posca pens. No changes were done to Yoshi himself, only the repaint of the Wild Wing. This custom is of Koopa Paratroopa in the Circuit Special. The base model for this one was of Koopa Troopa in the Circuit Special. Aside from the red shell and shoes, he also has a pair of wings made using miliput. These are painted white, and unfortunately, the Circuit Special was not repainted. However, that is something I'm looking into. As per usual, this emblem was hand painted, and I think it looks pretty alright. This is Birdo in her standard kart as seen in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. She uses a regular Yoshi and his standard kart with some additions and changes, such as the nose and feet being cut off and resculpted. She also no longer has a shell and has more spines on her back. For Birdo herself, she's pink with purple spots and a red bow with red spines. Her kart uses metallic pink as the top and red as the bottom, and once again, the emblem is hand painted. Here we have Kamek in the Mach 8. Although the Mach 8 kart is just a regular Mach 8 with blue standard wheels, Kamek was sculpted with miliput. However, the bottom here uses Daisy's bottom half, which is connected via a screw, thus ensuring that he will not fall out. There's no real rhyme or reason to him having blue standard wheels, I just thought it was neat. Kamek's emblems have also been hand painted, and the colors that he uses are yellow, white, light blue, blue, and silver. Here we have Wiggler, who is using a combination of sculpts, other parts. This one is based off the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. All that was really done to him was that I gave him shoes from Yoshi and Luigi's hands for the steering wheel. Other than that, every single piece has been sculpted out and then glued on. Other than the pieces being glued on, the bottom two spheres are screwed in, thus ensuring that he won't fall out. Here we have Titan. Here we have Titan. Here we have Tiny Titan Todd. Oh god. Here we have Tiny Titan Toad from Mario Kart Wii. This one needed a lot of modifications, as it uses the regular Toad sculpt. However, the base is using Movie Toad's kart. Only the chassis and wheels are kept the same. However, as you can see, the main body has been heavily altered using miliput. He's completely hand painted. Very happy to see this one returning in Mario Kart World. Here we have Luigi in the Mario Kart Wii Standard Kart. This one actually came to New Jersey with me when I was on my break. Using a regular Luigi and Movie Mario Standard Kart and miliput, you're able to create a rather convincing standard kart for Mario Kart Wii. A lot of changes had to be made, however, the changes are simple, and I would like to make a video regarding this custom specifically. As you can see on the bottom, you can clearly see the additions were at the front and the sides as well as the back. With how common the Movie Mario Standard Kart is, it should be pretty simple to make this one. The red Koopa Troopa from the Mario movie. A simple repaint can really go a long way. I highly advise unscrewing this one, as you can see, some parts are very hard to get to. Here we have a little goofy one that was made before Mario Kart World was even announced. Goombas in a standard kart with leaf tires. This one was a what if Goombas were added into the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. There are 3 Goombas, one to steer, one to throw items, and as you've seen before, one to accelerate and decelerate. The leaf tires are on standard wheels, however, the hubcaps were made using miliput and cover up the original tires. Since this one was made before Mario Kart World was even announced, as a result, all of this is of my own sort of creative liberties. Here we have Yoshi in the Cat Cruiser, a rather crude design as this was my first attempt. This one uses Yoshi in the Sports Coupe with a little glider attachment at the back. However, no glider is with this custom. He also uses sponge tires. This is the first time I made sponge tires as well. I used miliput to add the extra side bits and the tail for the Cat Cruiser. However, as you can see, I've used a little bit too much. We will get into a better design later on. Here we have Petey Piranha in the P-Wing with paper glider. Try saying that 5 times fast. Petey Piranha, P-Wing, paper, la 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 la. The P-Wing and paper glider both come from a Toad combo. However, the P-Wing also has sponge tires added on. However, Petey Piranha is made using miliput. As you can see, the emblems are also hand painted. This version specifically is from the Booster Course Pass. Here we have Ice Luigi in the Comet tail. Some of you may recognize this one from my Mario Kart mod all the way back when I was still modding Minecraft. However, this one is not a mod and is actually a physical item, as you can see. It was inspired off the fact that Ice Mario appears in Mario Kart Tour, but Ice Luigi doesn't. This one was made using a regular Luigi and a B-Dasher. The B-Dasher was painted using aqua, light blue, metallic blue, and then the back, where the spoiler is, was made using cardboard and cut to the right size and shape. As you'll see later on, I updated the design slightly. Here we have the DK barrel with the Shy Guy as the driver. For those of you wondering from my Thomas video where the Erdl Thomas was used, this is where it was used as the wheels, chassis, running board, buffers and back panel were used for this custom. You'll see later on, but this little coupling right here at the very back can also connect to other customs. Other than the points mentioned, everything else is sculpted out, except for the cow catcher right here at the front. Otherwise, everything else is made by hand. Something I failed to mention is how the wheel arrangement here is based off Mario Kart Double Dash, while the color scheme is based off Mario Kart Tour. So it's a little mismatch of both. If you made it this far to the video, then go ahead and comment Tiny Titan Todd Squad. Here we have Funky Kong in the Honeycoup car, based off Mario Kart Wii. This Honeycoup car is actually a regular coupe from one of Hot Wheels' other releases back in 2022. As you can see, it is this one, El Segundo Coupe. I'm sure I butchered that. I was able to find this at a CVS near me. Funky Kong is a simple readjusted Donkey Kong. If you're wondering about this little patch, it's a patch I forgot to paint on after I accidentally cut too much of his head. His tank top and shorts are just painted on. And this spoiler comes from another Hot Wheels car, although the name currently escapes me at the moment. It originally had a roof that I cut off using a jeweler's saw blade, which I made a video about not too long ago. Funky Kong for life. Here is Mario in the Silver Arrow with blue standard wheels. Originally a Mario in the Mach 8, this Mario was unchanged. However, the Mach 8 was severely changed. I used miliput to change the back and the front. However, I also cut the front off with a jeweler's saw blade. Other than that, I used random bits of plastic to make the mirror, the windshield, and these exhaust pipes. To show you exactly what I cut off these little side bits and this front part to create the Silver Arrow. Here we have Ice Mario from Super Mario Galaxy in this dark sneaker version. This is a Mario Kart Tour based combo, and it's simply a repaint. The Mario here uses metallic blue to give it that more Metal Mario look that Galaxy's Ice Mario has. Emblem once again is painted on. Luigi in the Jetsetter, although this combo isn't from Mario Kart Wii, it is based off the Mario Kart Wii version. This uses a Luigi in the Circuit Special combo. As you can see, the front and sides were added on using miliput, as well as the back, which also has a bit of plastic to hold up this part here, which is made using miliput, cut to the right shape and size. The back part is using regular pieces of cardboard to get the right shape down. I'd love to make a video on this one specifically someday, as I also would like to update it a little bit. As you can see, the front has been extended a little bit as well. Here we have Peach in the Sprinter Kart. I can't tell you which car I used exactly from Hot Wheels. However, it was one with a little spinning middle part that you could spin around your fingers like a little fidget toy. I cut the model in a lot of places, including that little middle bit, so that way Peach can actually fit through. However, I also added miliput in certain spots to get the right shape down, including the spoiler. However, the sides of the spoiler are made using cardboard. Peach is the standard Peach from another Mario Kart character combo. Here is Dixie Kong in the pipe frame from Mario Kart Tour. She's just Diddy Kong in the pipe frame, not much to say except how she was made. Although her shirt and pipe frame car were repainted, her hat and ponytail and other amenities such as these little hair pieces on the side and earrings were sculpted on and then painted. It's deceptively simple, however, as I've come to realize, Diddy Kong is a bastard to pull apart. Gold Shy Guy in the Rose Queen from Mario Kart Tour. The Rose Queen uses the Bumblebee combo, however Shy Guy comes from a different combo entirely. The Bumblebee is painted in metallic pink, silver, and gold. However, the Gold Shy Guy here uses the first instance of gold chrome paint. Here we have Tanooki Mario in the Tanooki Kart. This kart uses a Jeep sort of Hot Wheels car with the roof being cut off and made room for Tanooki Mario to sit in. As you can see, the name here is the 21 Ford Bronco from 2020. This car needed some serious modifications to make it look like the Tanooki Kart, although Tanooki Mario is still the same. The front was also cut off and resculpted using miliput, and other amenities have been added, such as these frames right here, and this frame back here, as well as the spare tire. He's also using the Hot Monster tires. The Doctor is in with Dr. Mario right here. Although I don't remember the name of this kart specifically, I do know it appears in Mario Kart Tour as well as Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario's torso was sculpted out, as well as his hat being removed to be replaced with a head of hair, including these two plastic bits for the little tufts of hair that sprout out. Other than that, the sneaker is a repaint. However, I was originally going to try and make the pill car. Unfortunately, I don't believe I have the skill for that currently. Here is Builder Mario in the Dozer Dasher. This one received heavy modifications, as this originally was another movie Toad kart with a regular Mario. Although it looks pretty decent at first, I would like to make changes and make it a little bit more accurate, for instance smoothing out this top bit for Mario's hat. Other than that, I'd say it's a pretty cool model in all honesty. Here we have Captain Toad in the Clanky Kart. Captain Toad is pretty standard other than his lamp and the backpack being not only painted but also sculpted on, other than the torso, which is just painted on. The base of the car, aka where the wheels are, was taken from another car specifically, although there doesn't really need to be a reason to get the specific car I used. In fact, I don't remember what car was used for that. And the top half right here, where the cart is actually stationed, is from a Piranha plant toy from a mystery box, although currently the toy name is escaping my mind. Other amenities part of this car were also sculpted on. Another addition to this one specifically is that it can be coupled up to the DK barrel car and roll around. Here is Monty Mole in the standard kart. This one is based off of what if Monty Mole was added in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. He also has sponge tires, so the standard kart was just repainted. However, Monty Mole himself was sculpted, although I would like to update this sculpt, as it doesn't look that great nowadays. Here we have Luigi in the Poltergust 4000, based off the DS version. Originally, the Poltergust was just the Bumblebee with Luigi added on top. However, the back, front, and the little side bits that jutted out were cut off. The back was replaced with Lego blocks, as well as these two exhaust pipes. However, the front here has a little vacuum portion at the very front, as well as a little hook right here. Once more, a what if Nabbit was added into the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. Although his standard wheels are gold, these are standard wheels. Another addition that I did for this one specifically is to change up the color of the exhaust pipes to look like his little rabbit ears. Everything about the kart itself has been painted using lavender and purple. However, Nabbit himself is just a sculpt. However, I'd like to say that this is a pretty good sculpt, all things considered. Here is a full gold Mario in a golden standard kart from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This features the reappearance of the chrome gold pen. Comparing the two, I'd say that the Luigi one looks more like Tour's version, while this one looks more like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's version. Let me know what you guys think. Invincibility Leaf Tanooki Mario. He was only a repaint with white, yellow, and gold. I'm pretty pleased with this one, in all honesty. Here is Luigi in his Wild Wing Kart. A simple character swap and a repaint can really go a long way, as I've said previously. Green, sky blue, and navy were used to make Luigi's Wild Wing Kart. As long as it's the Wild Wing Kart, it doesn't matter if you use Mario's or Daisy's. Here is Yoshi in the Carrot Kart from Mario Kart Tour. Although Yoshi is from the Mario Kart line, the Carrot Kart is from a different line entirely, from the old Color Changers line from when I was a child. Other additions, such as the back portion, front portion, and these exhausts, were sculpted out. However, the wheels were swapped when I was able to get into this model, as well as another model, which you'll see later. This light blue Yoshi, ironically, uses sky blue, and the Carrot Kart uses orange, green, and yellow, as well as black for other portions of the kart. Here is New Super Mario Bros. Wii Ice Mario in the Comet tail. Other than the blue used for the Ice Mario and the spoiler, not much has been changed for this model. However, this back portion right here, where there used to be those pits at the back of the wheel, were removed as well. And the spoiler was made using miliput this time. Here is Baby Mario in the updated Cat Cruiser. Unfortunately, I have not been able to paint on his emblem, as it is a little difficult, so I would like to add decals to it. I did forget to add on other details, such as the headlights at the very front. However, as you can see, the side bits and the inside of the sports coupe have been moved, shortened, and cut down, making it look a lot more manageable, as well as him featuring the leaf tires. With the tail being moved down and having more spots where it can attach to the cart, it's more sturdy and stable. I'm doing these two together at once. There's Green Shy Guy in the green Comet and Red Yoshi in the red Comet. Much like the Comet tail, they are just repaints of the B-Dasher with standard wheels. There's no reason why the red one has cardboard while the green one has miliput. It was just something I did because I was running out of miliput. Here we have Diddy Kong in the classic Dragster from Mario Kart Wii. The classic Dragster is once again using the Mach 8. However, it's more clear to see that the front was cut off and the wheels were changed to one of the standard big wheels that Hot Wheels have made. If you don't know what I mean, these are ridged sort of wheels, as you can see. This back portion was also sculpted out with miliput, as well as the exhaust, giving it a very Silver Arrow feel to it. Diddy Kong, however, remains unchanged, and the colors I used here are beige and dark brown. The final character and kart combo is Cappy in the New Year Sports Coupe. The Sports Coupe was repainted, however I would also like to add a glider since there is a glider spot. Cappy uses a spare Five Nights at Freddy's Freddy hat as the main portion of his head. Other than that, he was sculpted out, including his eyes, hair, eyebrow, tail, hands, and steering wheel. This is a fuel truck from Matchbox. The front portion is painted in ruby red, with the back being white and designed up in the 1-Up fuel pattern. Here we have a near complete Bolt Buggy. I plan to use Yoshi on this kart, however I might change it. This one still needs a few updates to make it look a little bit bigger and cleaner. This uses the pipe frame, however, the wheels are taken from another Hot Wheels kart and were put on the bottom to make the Bolt Buggy raise up a little bit. Looking forward to completing this one soon. Here we have the beginnings of Spike's standard kart. This one was started before Spike was revealed in Mario Kart World, so the color scheme is a little inaccurate to how he might look in Mario Kart World. I still don't have the game, so I don't know how it would look. Spike has the blue standard wheels since I was inspired from Wario's standard kart, although I don't know how to make Spike, whether it's sculpted or otherwise, or from another toy. I don't need to make another shot for this one. What you see is what you get. This is the P-Wing with the red slim tires. I just don't know who to put in the car itself. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. And that was the current custom Mario Kart collection. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe. And if you made it this far, then try saying Petey Piranha in the P-Wing with plain glider. And with that, thank you all for watching and have a great life. Petey Piranha in the P-Wing cart with